Good morning. Today we were talking about how, you know, high school, college age kids walking away from the faith that they grew up in. One of the guys that I like listening to is Matt Chandler, and he was talking about how a lot of times that's not a bad thing because kids that grow up in church, a lot of times it's focused on more like a moralistic deism, the do's and don'ts of how to live a Christian life. Don't cuss, don't watch a rated R movie unless it's about the crucifixion of Christ, love waits. It's all these do's and don'ts. It really doesn't have to do with the loving relationship that they can have with Christ, the beauty of who he is. And so they walk away from that treadmill of trying to perform for God and make sure, and then they get to that point of throwing up their hands and going off in their direction and see what the world has to offer. Chandler basically saying that that's not necessarily a bad thing. They can go and taste and see what the world has to offer and then be in that place of, just brokenness. As, in Ecclesiastes, it's all meaningless in the end. And it's self-serving and self-seeking. But the beauty happens when they come to the end of that road and they realize that, man, it's fruitless. There's nothing there, and a lot of times it's through brokenness that they come back to God and come to me, all who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. He's always there for us, and his desire for us is to have a relationship with him and to submit our lives, and that's when the fruit comes. It's not a compartmentalized Christianity. It's just saying, God, I love you and I want to know you more. And then as we come to him in our brokenness, he just continues to restore us and fill us up with his love and mercy and grace. And then we are transformed more into his image rather than the image of Adam, which we come into the world as. We come in broken and we're in the line of Adam, so we're always searching for that love and acceptance. But when we come back to God and we say, God, I need you. God, help me. And you're in that place of just saying, I'm going to trust you with my life, Lord. That's when we start experiencing what was intended. He came not just to forgive our sins. That's what we talk about on the cross. It's just forgiveness of sins. He had to come to die to forgive our sins. No, he came to restore us to what we are intended to be, our created value, as if we never ate the tree. It's about restoration of what our true identity is. And then all of a sudden we're transformed more into his image, which means we become more loving, which means we become free, which means we are filled with joy because we know who we are instead of always being in that posture of needing love and acceptance, needing to be attaboy, now all of a sudden you understand who you are and you continue to be transformed more and more into his image. It's a beautiful life, something that I never experienced, no matter what path I went down trying to find that fulfillment, whether it was the moral path, whether it was the depraved path, whether it was the success path, whether it was the athletic path, you name it, I tried. And it is all meaningless, as Solomon came to at the end of his life. And he did everything to its fullest and never found meaning outside of God. So if your kid is wilding out, just continue to pray for him. And you, as a parent, just continue to be that fruit, to understand who you are and can focus on the path that you're on and continue to pray that they can come to the end of themselves and experience the beauty of relationship with God, not just the moralistic deism thing that's out there of trying to perform for God, and that wears you out. But relationship with God is where it's at. He loves you and desires the best for you, just as you do your own children that are struggling. You want them to see what you see. God bless y'all.